What did I like about India? I loved the color. Indian people wear the most amazing, colorful, alive clothes. All the saris and sparkly bangles, and so even though they're an impoverished people or an impoverished country, they're extremely colorful. And my personal experience of India, even though I was quite aware of crime, especially in the state of Bihar, which is the northeastern part of India, I never experienced any tension or conflict. I never witnessed any with the people. I actually saw them to be quite accepting of their circumstances, and there was something about that that really opened my eyes and had me see where here in the West, or even just in my own thoughts, that I would be less grateful. So I saw an acceptance and an allowance of their circumstances that really opened my eyes. What else did I like about India? The smells, the food, of course. Loved the food. Didn't like getting sick. Getting sick was, I didn't really get sick actually. I was really, really strict and really good about that, but I did get a little rumble in the tumble at one point, and that was a little bit dodgy. But I also love, even though I'm not partial to religion, I did really thoroughly enjoy being exposed to their Hindu religion, mainly because at first I had no intellectual awareness or knowledge about Hinduism, and I just was exposed to their rituals. They had a holy festival going on where they threw the colored water at each other, and I didn't understand it. It was just a lot of fun. I went into a lot of temples and saw the different ritualistic practices of milk and rose petals, and my mind couldn't understand it. So it was really, the main reason I loved India is because it was literally like taking an airplane or a rocket to another planet, getting off into a world where my own upbringing and all my conditioning had no reference points. So I was just pleasantly exposed to all these new ways of doing things, new ways of relating to people. So it was a great eye-opener in many ways.
I really enjoyed India because it challenged me to change and expand inside. It really pushed me into a new place in my being where I was out of my comfort zone in such a drastic way, with food, the people I was with, the conditions I was living in from day to day, how I traveled on trains. Every aspect of it just totally challenged me. And in that challenge, there was some really beautiful moments. It really made me see myself at a deeper level, and I had to go inward to find the peace. It was an amazing adventure. I mean, it was really, it was like no other place I'd ever been to. You know, coming out of Ireland and my growing up, going there was just a total stimulation overload on every level. I had great experiences staying with local Indian people, and they would take us in, you know, a group of us were traveling around, and we had some people that we were connected with, and they would cook for us, and it was amazing. The food was great, you know, the most amazing, you know, food cooked with love in the simplest of kitchens. I mean, one burner and a little stone shelf and a chopping block. It was amazing what they would come up with.
What did I like about India? Well, obviously the poverty was hard to stomach in many cases. In particular, one example, when it was my third time to India and I flew into Calcutta, and there was a newborn baby that still had the umbilical cord attached, lying on a dirty, filthy sidewalk. next to 4 lanes of traffic that was just beeping constantly, and I had to walk by with my own little girl in a stroller, and I was horrified. I didn't quite know what to do. And the little baby was there with its big brother, who maybe was 3 or 4, and there was no mother. Obviously the mother was out looking for food, and as shocking as that may be, that's something that is quite, that's the kind of, it's an example of the kind of things that you see in India. I also saw a man crawling down to filthy urine covered sidewalk street in the middle of New Delhi, and he had no arms and legs, so he was just a torso crawling down the road, and his face was covered in poop and pee and all yucky things, and so on one hand it's kind of a bit of a oxymoron for me in a way, because on one hand that's what I didn't like about India. I didn't like seeing the suffering and the pain, but on the other hand, that's what taught me a lot at the same time. It opened my eyes, it made me more grateful, it showed me how other people tolerate their own pain and suffering and how they deal with it, quietly for the most part, because they just have to. What I don't like about India is having to be so darn strict about the water and the bugs, the bacteria, taking showers, having to be so anal when it comes to drinking out of a water bottle, like everything you do, because one slight little touch of the tongue of any kind of water source and you could be sick for a week. So I didn't like that part about India, but in general I find the people to be really sweet and nice, and yeah, they're culturally completely different, of course, in many ways. They don't really have personal boundaries like we do in the West. So I'll be in a queue waiting for something, and 50 Indian people will just bump in front of me in the queue, and they don't see anything wrong with that. So there's a few different cultural boundaries that are different, but I just was grateful for all of them. So yeah, I have few dislikes about India.
What I didn't like so much about India was the cities. Very, very busy cities. The traffic is kind of crazy. They're kind of crazy places. And there's so many people. And I found that at times, being a Westerner, these people have very little, and so they lean on me. They pull on my energy to try to get something, to try to get money or food or something. So I didn't really like that part, even though I understood what was going on, but it's kind of painful. And also what I was careful with the fact that a lot of people were so that they would be a better place. And I found that just not very nice. And I didn't want to support it. So now I do give people food, and I an adventure. intensity of India. And yeah, after all the work I did on myself, in order to be there for 8 months and do okay, I really had to go inward and just find a place of peace and stillness. And it just forced me into myself. It forced me to do a lot of personal work for myself. And it was so good because when I came back to the West, I could no longer live the life that I was living, which may not have been the healthiest life. So that I feel like was the greatest gift for my life. It turned my life in a direction of healthy, holistic, kind of looking for spirit, looking for the light. And I went down that path to a degree in India that I couldn't turn back.
Favorite places in India, for sure, Bodh Gaya or Bodh Gaya in Gaya, Bihar. That's where the Buddha was enlightened. That's where the Bodhi tree is. It's filled with monks and nuns and tourists from all over the world. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, pristine, sacred energy there. Still a bit of chaos because it's India, but it was just really, it was a special place to get to see where the Buddha was enlightened and how the people worship that holy spot. Another favorite place, Rishikesh. Primarily because it's at the foothills of the Himalayas, and there's the most stunning Ganges river running through, and a beautiful atmosphere there. A lot of old-time yogis, like native local yogis that, they're smoking hashish and they're chilled. They got the big long beards and a lot of sadhus, and yeah, it's a pretty cool place, pretty happening.
What my favorite place was in India? Well, I ended up staying most of the time in the state of West Bengal, and there was this kind of yoga ashram place way out in the middle of nowhere called Anandanagar, and basically it was just a bunch of buildings and a nice river, and it was in the middle of tribal land, so all around were scattered little mud hut villages, people growing rice. This was amazing because after the insanity of the busy streets and the busy places, I would get to go back there for a couple of weeks at a time. It was like my home base when I lived there for 8 months. And it was pristine. It was beautiful. Rolling hills, was very peaceful. It was, miles and miles away from any kind of busyness. And there was a lot of people there just going for the light. A lot of monks meditating, and that was their daily routine, up at 4 o'clock in the morning, meditating, doing yoga. And so it was a special place. It was a very special place. There was dinosaur fossils that were like laying in the ground. You could see the shape of the dinosaur skeleton that had, the rain had eroded, that was kind of popping out of the ground. Yeah, it was a cool place. I think that was my favorite spot in India. And of course going to the Himalayas, but that was Nepal. I did that on the same trip, which is a very common thing.
Absolutely, in a heartbeat, I would go back to India, and I will do pretty soon. Although India is a kind of place where I think, for me personally, I've had to have a break to integrate everything that I learned there, but I can feel the little itchy feet coming back. It's time to get back there to the madness of Mother India. What would I do differently this time? I'll go further south. I've only been to the northern states in India and experienced, the Mecca of Hinduism in Varanasi, and the kind of Mecca of Buddhism in Bodh Gaya, and the yogis, and didn't get to Dharamsala, which I'd love to, but I think I'd like to go to the kind of Kerala, the middle southern regions, which I hear from friends is cleaner, a bit more modern and upbeat. There's more diverse kind of cultures there, like French colonial influences and various different things that India that I haven't conceptually thought about yet. I want to go explore. I mean, it's a ginormous country, so I've only been to little bits of it. So I just want to see what she has to offer.
So would I go back to India again? Absolutely. I would love to. I would totally love to. I would probably do some things a little differently. Firstly, I'd be really careful of what I ate and drank because getting sick is no fun. And I would go to northern India, Rishikesh, and up the upper Ganges where the Himalayas are. I would go there for sure because I didn't get to go there the first time. I would probably go there, and I would go to South India, which is more relaxed environment. The people I think are a little more relaxed and friendly, which I also didn't get to go there, but I hung out with people from South India. So those are the two things I would do if I was going back.
Okay, yes, I would recommend that you go to India. The reason is because it will, whether you have a positive or negative experience, guaranteed it will change your life. It'll open your eyes to the way human beings live on this planet at different levels that we could never really understand here in the West unless we were there with all of our senses, 6 of them, tuning in, smelling, hearing, tasting, the lot. Tips, some tips if you're going to India. Bring lots of antibacterial hand wash, like a gallon, no joke. Bring your own laundry detergent and preferably a big bucket from the hardware store where you can wash your own clothes, because I just didn't really trust giving my clothes into various hotels. One time in Varanasi I saw one hotel washing their clothes right next to the sewer pipe that was coming into the Ganges, right next to where some of the local residents were throwing up in the morning because that's part of their ritual to clear their tummy. So yeah, bring your own laundry detergent in the bucket. Just get it drilled in your head before you go that under no circumstances do you let anything in your mouth that has not been tightly sealed and in a bottle of basically water. You can't allow anything that hasn't been bottled and you can see that the plastic is still sealed to enter into your digestive tract, because otherwise you're going to get severely sick. And final tip, which I mentioned earlier, do not say yes. As tempting as it may be with the beggars and the children especially, do not give in to giving them money, because it's a slippery slope and it's better for your own sanity. My personal experience is it's better for your own sanity if you just from the very beginning say no, and then you've got clear boundaries and they don't necessarily back off because they're conditioned to keep coming after you, but there's a level of aggression that will not be there. And that's it for my tips for India.
I think some of the best tips that I learned while I was there was I would take, and if I was going back again or advising somebody, I would go to northern India, go to Nepal, and go to South India. That's great. Take a really good pair of heavy-duty water shoes that you can soak in water and wash often, because they do get really dirty. Take plenty of bug spray, sunscreen, multivitamins is a good one. And also, if you can find like those Dr. Dust masks that they sell in a welding shop that has a dark coating of carbon over it, and it helps because when you're in traffic in the cities, the fumes are so intense, the carbon monoxide from the cars, because there's no emissions there and it's just smoky and it burns your eyes. And it's probably, if you're in traffic a lot, it's good to have something that's kind of a respirator that filters out some of that carbon monoxide, just so you're not getting all that soot in your lungs. That'd be a big one if I go, for sure. I did that the first time too. Yeah, try to get to know people and visit their families and connect with the people, like see if you can get to know people and just hang out in their world for a little while and get to know them, because then you really taste India, you taste the food, way different than restaurants and all that stuff. That's one level, but if you can get to know some people, some local people, and hang out a little bit, best way to do it.